Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Expert Division in the Community Cup Tournament. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Let's go. So we're gonna start off by playing one of the, I would say one of the easiest ones that we do have in the tournament. It's pretty much straightforward, but the thing that we're going to look for is a specific spot. And for those of you that haven't been looking at the whole guide for this one, I'm actually having a specific whole guide for this one because I do think that we could be making this one as a very secure eagle when it comes to going for the dunk shot. It's going to be tough, but I do have the references that I'm giving you in the whole guide. I'm going to brief you through it here as well. Max topspin with extra mile, which is 6 bars, and as much side spin to the left possible. I'm going to drag down my adjustment here a little bit and just adjust, so I do not have to go into overpower and to adjust. Just make sure that I'm getting into this point at max distance, at least, that I do want to aim for. No elevation adjustment, just gonna play it as it is, and then we're gonna go with half a ball of curl to the left and approximately like 50% of the overpower that we can get. I don't want us to go max because we're going to risk going too far. And I don't want to play with a wedge here. I do want to play with my thorn and starting to build a reference. You can see here 358 yards. That's the number to remember. Because now we're going to go for the dunk. Our opponent here is going to go and adjust for the pin. But you're going to notice that our opponent is going to use kind of regular numbers for this thorn shot. And he's going to miss right due to that. Due to the uphill approach here, that is very hard to spot on how much uphill this one actually is. So, and that's the key here though. If we do want to go for the dunk, we do need to have the references correct, and we need to understand that look how much uphill this one is. This is one, if in my opinion, one of the more uphill adjustments that we do have. Our opponent missed to the right and then makes it our turn. So you can see here 358 once again. That's going to leave us to be, you can see, still a lot of uphill there. You can see we are in minimum, and I'm going to play this one in between. I'm going to play this one as a medium distance of my club. And medium distance of my club is going to give myself not that many rings because I'm going to play it 30% uphill. So I'm going to play this one 2.2 rings, which is not much when we do have an 8.5 in win. Sorry, I do have to correct myself. I played in between a minimum and medium distance from this mark. Hit it perfect, and you can see that it comes in very, very nicely, and we dunk it in for an eagle. So once again, repeat myself, in between minimum and medium, not medium. 30% down here, sorry, 30% uphill. Oh my god, my Swinglish. Then you're going to be good with that one. But go check the whole guide there. I do put up that video twice and go over it twice, so we do have in mind what we're going to do. So hole number 2. Here I'm going to show you 2 approaches, and it's going to be this, the structure wise it's going to be the same approach, but it's going to be 2 different clubs. The first one is going to be with the sniper. And the sniper is not having that much backspin here to get the ball to stop, at least according to the ball guideline. So I'm going to change here, and I'm going to play this one with more as a power 1, power 2 ball here. So I'm playing with a navigator, pulling myself with max backspin. And you can see here I'm aiming, so the second bounce is pretty much like 1.5 square on top of the pin there, with the yellow ring just there on the green. Now you need to pay attention closely here, because I'm going to play this one as for 9.2 rings, which is minimum distance of my club. And I'm going to go short in terms of where my ball is landing. You can see I'm bouncing on the frame, so I'm basically 1 ring short, but it becomes very much excellent in terms of that. Just so super close to make a hole-in-one there. So that's the trick with that one. If you want to play with the sniper, you play it minimum numbers. You will go slightly short, but that's something that we do have in mind when we do play hole number 2. Second approach here is for those of you that don't maybe want to go that close line, but also you maybe have a sniper level 9, sniper level 8, which not going to have that much backspin as a sniper level 10 is having. Then you pull out your guardian. Your guardian is going to give you the backspin, so you definitely not having to rely on having a very high wind in terms of like for headwind here, so you get the ball to stop. So you can basically have to play with a kingmaker, or you can play with a more wind resistant ball and go directly at the pin by bouncing on the green. And now the hard part here for hole number 2 is to kind of judge how much do we need to compensate due to the max backspin approach and also the headwind. So this ball is basically just going to stop. Like after the, what will it be, the second bounce, the ball isn't going to bounce any further anymore, not much at least. So I'm trying to find myself like going with the second bounce approximately 1 square past the pin. That's at least my initial starting point with my adjustment. Then I'm going to play this one for being in medium distance of my club, which is going to give myself 7.2, 7.4 rings approximately there. You can see we bounce on the spot that we were aiming for, but you can see how much the ball basically dies. So I do want you to move up to have your target with backspin included to have approximately 3 squares past the pin with a second bounce, and then you're going to still adjust medium number, and then you will be fine. Hole number 3. Here we are going to play on the island here. We do have some very good wind, which is going to be helpful in 2 ways. First, we're not having straight tailwind, so we kind of just can align ourselves with how the fairway is there on the island, and we can hit great left, great right, and don't be that afraid to get completely over or miss our target completely. I'm using max topspin and around 50% of overpower with a Thor's hammer level 6. And I'm also using 1 bar of side spin to the right. I don't want to use more to the right as we do have the wind that is going to help us big time. I do believe strongly that with a little bit better drive, you will definitely be able to get super close to the green. But I kind of, once again, I enjoy getting into thorn distance here, as that will be a very good opportunity for us to make an albatross. And this hole has been good to me, you know. It has been good as for getting into that area. Important once again to note down how far you are driving. So you know that for the next time. Like if you get into the same spot and you then drop your shot, you kind of know how the adjustment is going to be. Sure, you're sometimes going to just go past the hole in some form, but still you will be knowing that in some form. Also the drive 10% downhill, super important as well, so we don't miss that. Now second shot, 10% downhill, and I'm going to play with the thorn in minimum distance of my club, absolute minimum distance, half a bar of backspin. Due to the tailwind that we're going to have, I'm aiming straight at the pin, and now we're going to have the 10% over adjustment with minimum distance here with our thorn. So that's going to give ourselves approximately 3.5 rings with our adjustment. Hits it perfect. Getting in, get in. Oh, get in! Super close to miss there, so we maybe just want to move our target just to be on the left side of the pin a little bit, not outside, just on the left side there, then we would be more straight in, but it got in for an albatross. So now I'm going to give you another reference here that I think is super important here. Plus 4 yards with a power 3 ball, which is a kingmaker, using 4.5 bar backspin and 1 bar side spin to the right, and you can see I'm approximately 1 square on the right side of the pin in terms of compensation for the secondary bounce. And here I'm going to adjust this one for 1-on-1, which is 7.5 rings. Oh, sorry, 1-on-1 plus 1, which is 8.5 rings. That's the adjustment. We're getting super close, and the only thing I would do for the next time is to actually give ourselves just a tiny bit more side spin. I don't want to mess up with the landing position there, because if we do choose a different landing position, the bounce might going to be different. So the only thing there, just use one and a smidge when it comes to a side spin to the right. Then I think that's going to be super close, if not in, when you take that shot. Our opponent doing something here that I really don't understand. The thing that I don't understand is why aim so far back. Because when we do have tailwind, we do want to go directly at the pin. We don't want to rely on the back of the green to do the work for us. Not in my opinion, at least. This one getting way to the right as well. So make sure that you're aiming a little bit further ahead. The wind is perfectly aligned there, so we are not going to have any problems. Even if we do under or over adjust, we're still going to have no problem to land this one on green. So have in mind 1-on-1 +1 with a sniper. So if the wind says 7.5, we play 8.5 rings. So I do apologize for the miscommunication there, but that's the adjustment there. Hole number 5. Here I'm going to show you 2 approaches. One that we're going to play on the right side here, and one that I'm going to play on the island. The reason I'm showing you 2 is because, you know, with this type of wind, the island approach is tough. It's super tough. And I would say that if you do feel even just slightly uncomfortable playing on the island, you should not play on the island. Then you should play on the right and lay up and then go for the pin form that this, like I'm doing in this example here. First, have in mind the drive here, we'll play 10% downhill. Super important as well, as otherwise we're going to be a little bit messed up with our shot. Still though, we do have a lot of room for error here on the right side, so the only thing is to just lay up and try to get it to stay on fairway. If we get into the rough or into the sand, that's a bummer, as we would be losing out on an opportunity here. Our opponent is going to go for the island, but you can see here why I think this is so scary. Because to be able to go on the island here, we do need to go with overpower. And when having to overpower and try to hit a specific spot there, we do kind of want to feel like we're going to hit perfect many of the times. This one, our opponent is hitting this ball great right, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, he hits it perfect, sorry. And look how close this is to the rough. Like, if hitting the rough there, that ball would be dropping into the water instead. So that was super close, but now the result becomes absolutely excellent. I'm going to take my shot from the island later, like for the other example here. Now I'm going to aim for the pin here, slightly compensation for the bounce, and just approximately 1 cup. The thing that I do wrong here is that I do adjust with wrong elevation adjustment. You should more adjust this one more like a 20 to 30% downhill adjustment here to get it spot on. We still need to compensate for the wind here, so I'm more thinking of like we maybe should be playing this one 40% downhill with the ball guideline straight at the cup. Still in a little trial and error basis here, as I do think we definitely could be dialed this one in much better. You can see I'm missing this one to the right of the pin. Not much though, but still enough to be able to see that we're definitely adjusting. We are not adjusting enough. So second time here, or like second approach here, and here we go for the island. And you can see here 11 miles per hour in some slight tailwind, but mostly crosswind. I'm going max topspin here, which is 6 bars. And now I'm going to adjust this shot for max rings, like max distance with a 10% over adjustment, which is going to give me 6.5 rings. Down into the water, we need to push up our target into maximum distance, 50% curl on our ball, with half a ball of curl outside to the adjustment ring to the right in curl. So 50% with the ball outside the adjustment ring to the left in curl, 50% of overpower, and that ends up on the green with a slight overpowered pot. But I will take this, you know, that's okay. And that's the way that I'm going to play on the island. The only thing to have in mind here though is that let's say you get like an 8 mile per hour with a berserker instead of an 11 that I'm having there, then you might have to think of reducing the curl a little bit and go with a smidge more of overpower to try to hit the same type of spot. The only thing that we do not want to do is to have such a long pot that we have to max overpower, or that we do roll over the green completely and go out of bounds. So even though the island is possible to dial in, but it's still going to be some risk factors involved, and it's not going to be a super easy eagle to get. But I think though we're going to see at least a 50% of the player base make the eagle when it comes to the weekend round. So I would classify this one as a must eagle in the end. And therefore, the island play needs to be the play that we're actually going to do if you're not going to be able to dial in the one on the right side there. So you can see here, this pot is actually doable. It's just a tiny bit overpowered here, not much. And sure, if a great pot there will most likely not go in, but a perfect will do. Hole number 6 here, and here I'm going to use a method that I'm using all the time with my wood club. Is that I'm using max backspin on the wood club, and I'm using no side spin whatsoever with this type of wind. I'm going to want my ball to bounce up to the top right, fall back down, and hopefully make an hole-in-one. This is a very easy par 3 to make an hole-in-one on, but very hard to dial in completely, so we do get the same type of roll all the time, as for the very inconsistent fairway that we are having there. Our opponent hits it great, and that's okay. It's still going to be close though. It's like every shot that you're making here, if we take away if we do get into the bunker or so, but every shot will be kind of close and going to give you a super easy putt for a birdie. So I'm playing with a Kingmaker, reducing the wind as much as I can without using any type of special ball. And you can see here I'm aiming for, once again, like I'm turning my screen around pretty much into a diagonal way here for the ball guideline to see myself going straight at the pin. Then I want to move back a little bit and use the white ring as a marker by the fringe there to the left. Then I'm going to adjust 1-on-1, which is 8 rings for 8 miles per hour. Hit it perfect. And you can see here with the max backspin approach, we get up there to the hill and it's going to fall down towards the pin and be close for a hole-in-one. We need to get it to fall back down just a little bit short there, but other than that, it's definitely a possible hole-in-one. Hole number 7. Hole number 7 invites us to go super close to the green. I'm not going to do this now. I don't know why I didn't try to go with a berserker here though, but it's absolutely possible to make a shot with a berserker or with a snow globe and reach, if not on the green, but super close to the green. I'm going to play with a Titan ball here, as for that I do want to just get myself as close as possible and see how far I'm going to reach with a Titan here without having to use any berserkers. Because when we're playing expert, we're not going to win any berserkers. But most of you that are playing expert would probably have a 1, 2, 3, or maybe more due to the golden shot that where we can win berserkers. So berserker is an excellent ball here to use, and you're going to see a 9.7 in wind here for a Titan. I'm aiming basically straight down the middle and going to use approximately like 75% of the ball outside the adjustment ring to the right, and max topspin and as much side spin to the right as possible. And you can see here with a Titan ball how far we are reaching here, and with a berserker ball here, I'm possibly sure with a power 5 and a little bit more wind that we would definitely be, if not on the green, but super close. We do need to go with a more aggressive line towards the rough on the right though, as we would if we are not having more curl with our club. So here it could be good, honestly. If you do have some snow globes, play with an Apocalypse. Apocalypse maybe in a level 3, like 2, 3, 4, something like that. Of course, if you have it in 5 and 6, then you can do that as well. But go with that type of club and go with a little bit more curl, so you do not have to go with such a close line when with your first bounce with, for example, the extra mile. Here we do have a short iron, like this situation here, and you can see here now we are 9.8 in wind. Trying to look for where are we. I do kind of feel we are going to be in between minimum and medium distance here. The problem and the fault that I do here is that I'm playing in medium distance. So playing it medium distance number, and that's a little bit of a mistake, misreading or misread the situation here. Still going close though, but we need to play it in between minimum and medium distance. Here is also super important to note down the yardage with your drive, especially if you don't have any berserker balls. So you try to replicate the situation so you can get the ball in the hole. Hole number 8. Here I do take away the play over the water completely. Why do I do that then? It's because I do feel that I don't have the club for it. If I would be having an Apocalypse level 5 or more, you have an advantage on this hole. I'm not saying that's wrong, but that's just how it is. And there you should be playing with a power 5 ball and go max overpower, max topspin, and not max curl, but go with approximately 1 ball of curl outside the adjustment ring to the left, with as much side spin to the left as possible as well. XY level 8 is not going to have that distance. It's going to be a little bit shorter, not have that much carry as Apocalypse have, and also have less topspin, or like kind of, if you have an 8 you have kind of the same type of topspin. But the thing that I don't like, look at the tip of my ball guideline here. I will not be able to reach over if I'm bouncing without having to overpower on that spot. But to be able to get to that spot I will have to overpower. And you can see here now adjusting for the wind, you see we do have some headwind, and therefore you can see we're going even more into overpower, which makes that I have to max overpower my shot and hit that tiny piece of fairway inside the rough on the sand. And if I do hit the rough on the left, I'm most likely going to drop down into the water. If I hit the sand, my eagle opportunity is basically gone on this hole. So I do take the more conservative route, play it on the right. I'm going to leave myself up for a long iron there towards the pin. Maybe too conservative, but I don't like that big risk. You know, we have so many opportunities on the other holes that I think and I hope that this is not going to be a must eagle for us in on this part 4. I do completely understand that you might want to try, but 50-50 isn't good for me. Even though I feel super confident going with overpower, I can definitely not rely on myself hitting a max overpower shot perfect twice. So it's I still gonna hit it great left, still gonna hit it great right, and that is not something that I want to gamble with. So now I play from distance here. I play my Goliath here, and even though this shot looks uphill, it's definitely not be played uphill, which is kind of strange, but that's good. So we are gonna be a little bit fooled at least. Going max backspin here and max side spin to the right. The thing that I'm not thinking about here is like we're kind of playing in some tailwind, but also some crosswind here that is going to push us a little bit extra to the left, and therefore we're gonna miss to the left of the pin. So this is a hard approach, this one as well. But once again, what do we decide to do? Or let's say like this: what do you want to do? It's you that decide what you want to do. It's you that takes the risk. I'm here to explain what that risk means, and if there is any other way to play the hole that is more conservative. So I'm leaving that one completely up to you. You have heard what I have to say about that, and I stick to that, and I'm most likely going to play conservative through the whole tournament if I'm not finding a different type of setup that is going to be better. Here I'm going max overpower. Hole number 9, max overpower, max curl with extra mile level 8. 3 to 4 bars of topspin is enough here, with as much side spin to the right as possible. We do want the ball to be kicked in to the right there, and I would love to stay away from the rough and the sand there. For those of you, once again, that has an Apocalypse level 5 or more, is going to have a slight advantage here due to the curl, but also the distance. Like the carry is going to be better for you, and you're going to be able to reach super close to the green. And if you're lucky with a power 5 ball, you most likely will be able to reach green on a good day. Drive though is downhill 10%, so you're going to get some help there with the wind for sure. Second shot towards the pin is also going to be 10% downhill, and once again we're going to land up and we're going to play with a long iron or a short iron depending on how far we're going to drive. I do want you to stay away from this situation though. You can see the tree straight forward in our face, and those trees are in play, and we're not going to be able to what can I say, to reach over it. If so, we need to play around it, and that's going to of course be super tough. Here I'm playing with approximately 1 cup in terms of like distance from pin. In over adjustment there for the tailwind. I should have gone with half a bar backspin as well though, with the same type of approach. We're going to adjust this one for being in between medium and maximum distance here with our thorn, and it's going to give ourselves 4.4 rings. And then we're going to take our shot. 10% downhill as well, if I didn't say that before. And then we're going to end up and get this ball in the hole for a very nice albatross. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this playthrough for Expert Division in the Community Cup Tournament. Once again, the timestamp you can find down there in the video description. Also, check out patreon.com/golfclashtommy. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Good luck in the Community Cup Tournament.